Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up a dropshipping store from scratch. So if you follow along with me, by the end of this video, you're going to have a complete store that's set up and ready to start selling. It's going to be set up in the exact same way that I set up all my stores when I'm testing. And I'm also going to get rid of any confusion or any misconceptions you guys have in the beginning of this video. And then in a couple of minutes, we're going to actually start with the website creation. By the way, if any of you guys don't want to create a store yourself, you can actually join my mentorship program below, which is $49 a month. And you actually get a free store built by my team. You get access to my full in-depth course on dropshipping. You get access to my Discord community where you can meet like-minded people and actually partner up with them, learn from each other, etc. And also every single week in the Discord community, I go on a group call with all you guys and you get to ask me any questions. So if you have any misconceptions or anything, you can get all those answered there. And yeah, if you're lazy or you just want to get a store done and you don't want to have to worry about it, join that and you'll get one for free. But if you actually want to build your own store, then keep watching this video. If you want to, you can also follow along with this video and just set up a store while you're watching the video. And by the end of it, you'll have a store done. And yeah, that's basically it. If you guys want to follow my Instagram, it's at ecommarco, and you can also DM me there if you have any questions for me or if you just want to reach out and connect with me. And yeah, that's basically gonna be it. Without further ado, let's go straight into the video. All right, so first of all, I want to get rid of some misconceptions and common things that are kind of like myths in the dropshipping space that people are not really sure about and that really trouble the beginners. So the first things I want to go over are the types of stores that exist. So I'm sure all of you have already heard of a general store, niche store, one product store, and not a lot of you have actually heard about a hybrid store. And basically, what are the main differences between these stores? So a general store is just a store with like a super general name. These used to be extremely popular back in like 2017, where you would just have a general store named anything and you would just sell all sorts of products on it, and the products wouldn't really be related in any way. You wouldn't really have a brand, you would just have a store that's selling random products, and that's it. Niche stores are stores that are selling, for example, only fitness gear or only fishing gear or only like beauty products, etc. So you have like a niche that you're selling products in, and long term these are a lot better because you can actually build some customer trust and loyalty and you can have a lot of repeat customers. Then we also have one product stores, which is basically having a store that only sells one product, and you would have the name of the store match the product name. So that way you would kind of position yourself as the creator or inventor of the product, and in theory that way you would have the most trust from your customers and your conversion rate should be higher. Now, what's a hybrid store? A hybrid store is something that I came up with, and it's basically just having a general store slash a one product store hybrid. So you would basically have a store that has a super general name that is able to sell any sorts of products, but it would only sell one product at a time. So the idea behind this is not every store you go to is named exactly as the product is. So for example, if you go into Nike, you would buy shoes or you would buy like fitness gear, but the store itself is not named fitnessgear.com. It's not named shoes.com. It's named Nike, which doesn't really have anything to do with the products themselves. You know, with that name, they could literally be selling anything. They could be selling fishing gear or fitness products or groceries or anything. You wouldn't really know based on the name what they're selling. So what I came up with is having a general store that only sells one product at a time and has a very general name. So this way we're kind of getting the best of both worlds, and you're able to test really quickly while also kind of having the perceived value in the product and also being able to position yourself as the inventor of the product. So what are some benefits of a hybrid store? The first benefit is the flexibility, and that is because you can test basically any product you run into. So it's very easy to test any product you run into. You're super flexible. Anytime you see a new trending product, you can just add it to the store and you're ready to go. The second benefit is the speed. Because you don't have to set up a new store for every single product, you're able to test so much quicker, and you're just able to switch out the product every time one doesn't work and just continue testing without having to go through the entire process once again. Then the third benefit is adaptability. Let's say you test out a couple of products and one of them starts working well. What you can do then is you can actually change your store name, change the domain, and just position yourself as a one product store without having to actually test on a one product store beforehand. So once you have a winner, you just change the name of the store and the domain, and you basically have a one product store, and you can choose any name that you think would fit best with that product that you're selling. The fourth benefit is the conversion rate. So because you don't have a bunch of random products in the store, you can basically have just one product in the store that you're selling, and your customers are not going to get confused when they go to the homepage because they're only going to see the product that you're actually promoting, and they're going to see you as a one product store basically in their mind. So it actually does convert a little bit better than a basic general store. And the fifth thing is the budget. So because you're only setting up one store and you're testing all the products on that one store, you don't have to keep buying new stores or keep paying for more Shopify subscriptions or anything. You can just test everything on one store, and then once that store starts working and starts making you money, you can just set up another store and just start testing on that other store. So that way you'll save a lot of money on domains or buying stores if you don't want to set them up yourself, or paying for some apps or whatever. So you can actually save quite a bit of money there. And then the sixth and the biggest benefit in my opinion is it removes friction. So when you have to set up an entire store in order to test the product, it can be very frustrating and very overwhelming, and you might start procrastinating and not actually do anything. And just having a hybrid store is so much better because you can just switch out the product literally like 20-30 minutes and you're ready to go. You don't have to go through the entire process of setting up a store. You just switch out the product, change the description, and you're good to go. So for that reason, hybrid stores are the best in my opinion for testing. Niche stores and one product stores do definitely have their own place. For example, if you're gonna pay for a super big shout out and you're looking at it as like a long-term play, you want to build up a brand and sell it at some point, then setting up a niche slash one product store is a lot better because those those sell for a lot more because you can get customer loyalty and you can get a lot of repeat customers there. Then you can actually build a brand that people recognize and people know what it's about. But I wouldn't recommend you get started with those stores. I'd recommend you get started with a hybrid store and then change the hybrid store into a one product or niche store when something is working. So now that we got that out of the way, let's actually go ahead and let's set up the store. All right, so the first step in setting up a store is thinking of the name. Basically, the name of the store doesn't matter. Don't overthink the name. People don't really pay attention to it. Your customers don't care. You don't care. Just ask yourself if you ever looked at the name of the store where you were purchasing something. I mean, some of the most famous store names like Nike, Puma, Adidas, Rolex, anything like that, they don't really mean anything. They're just random words that don't exist. You only think those names are good because the brands are actually valuable and they have a high perceived value. So basically any name can have a high perceived value as long as the brand around it is cool and has a high perceived value and looks good. So don't spend much time thinking of the name. Give it like 30 minutes max. Go through the dictionary, take a look at some random words that you think sound cool or look cool, and just change up a few letters or take a letter away or add a letter to something, or maybe merge two different words into one, or whatever you can until you have one that sounds decent. So as soon as you have one word that sounds alright, what I want you to do is I want you to go to name.com or any other website where you can do a domain name search, and I want you to come in here and type in the name that you came up with. So I came up with Elepathy, which is basically telepathy without the T. So it looks decent enough, people won't really care. And we want to check what type of domain names are available. So elepathy.com is not available, but elepathy.blog is. We don't need .blog, but for example, .co could potentially work. So let's see if that's available too. And this is available actually. So elepathy.co is available. It's $13 a year, which is pretty cheap. And yeah, we're basically good to go. So we now know the domain is available. When it comes to domain names, do not overthink this step. .com, .co, .shop, .store, .co.uk, .us, all of those work. .co.uk or .us or .fr, I would only go for if you're selling in one country. So if you want to sell to the US only, then go for .us. But for any store that you plan on selling to the entire world, I would go for .com, .co, .shop, .store. It really doesn't matter. No one really pays attention to it, and you're probably going to change the name at some point if you find the winning product. So do not overthink this step. Any one of those that I just named works. So as long as one of them is available, go for it. So now that we know the domain name is available, we're going to have to start a Shopify trial. Now, the regular Shopify trial is usually 14 days, but if you guys set up a Shopify trial through the link that I'll leave in the description, you're going to get a 45-day free trial. The link is going to take you to this page. Just read through it, and then once you're done reading through this, click here, and it's going to take you to Shopify where you're going to be able to register. So now we're going to need an email address, so let's go set one up. All right, here I am in Gmail, and I'm just going to do a very simple setup. So I'm going to do Elepathy. For the last time, I'm just going to do team, and then I'm going to do elepathyteam@gmail.com. Looks like it's available. And then I'm just going to set up a random password. And then I'm going to click next. Now it's going to ask us for some extra info, so I'm just going to try to skip as much as I can. And I'm going to put some random date of birth. And I'm going to click next. Then it's going to ask us to agree to the terms and services, so let's click I agree. And that's it. It's as easy as that. Now we have a Gmail account. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click here and I'm going to copy our email link, click Control-C, go back to Shopify, and I'm just going to paste it in here. By the way, at the time of me recording this video, Shopify has a deal where they give you 3 months for $1. So I'm not sure how much longer this is going to be available. So if you guys are watching this video and it's still available, set up a store as soon as you can so you can lock this in and get 3 months for just $1. And yeah, if you're watching this later on and it's not available, then unfortunately you're going to have a regular 14-day trial and you'll be able to get a 45-day free trial through a link in the description. So let's click on start free trial, and it's going to take us through some extra steps. So here it's going to ask us some random things. You don't have to answer any of these. You can just go here and click skip, skip, skip. And now it's going to ask us for the store name. So let's go ahead and let's do Elepathy. And let's see if it's available. All right, Elepathy is available. Then it's going to ask us where our store is going to be located. So I'm just going to do Serbia. You guys can just do the country where you live and click next. Then it's going to ask us to create a Shopify ID. So I'm just going to click on continue with email. We're going to use our current email and I'm just going to set up a password for it. Once I'm done with that, I'm just going to click create Shopify ID. And now we're logged into Shopify. So our store is setting up and in a few seconds, it's going to be ready to go. So I'll see you guys soon.
12 seconds later.
And within literally a few seconds, we're here in Shopify and we're ready to get started. So the first step of setting up a Shopify store that I'd recommend all of you do is to click here and pick a plan. And then you can pick any plan you want. I personally always go for the basic Shopify plan. At the moment, it's $1. It's going to go back to $29 really soon. So I'm going to click choose this plan. Then it's going to ask me for the billing cycle. I'm just going to confirm the monthly one. And then it's going to ask me for my address and credit card info. And then I would be able to click start plan. I'm not going to actually fill it out because I'm not going to be using this store. But this is definitely the first step you want to do. And I'll show you guys why really quickly. But before I do that, I just want to explain how all of this works because there's a lot of misconceptions about whether or not you're able to start selling on Shopify before you pay anything. everything. So it's all really nicely explained right here on the right side. But basically the regular trial is 14 days. So all you have to do is just input your credit card info and select the plan. And while the trial is active, you can actually start selling, but it's not going to charge you anything. It's only going to start charging you the $29 a month after the trial is ended. So if for whatever reason you stop using the store, you can just cancel before the trial expires and you're not going to be charged anything. But yeah, a lot of people think that you can't start selling before you pay for anything. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. That is not true. I don't know who's spreading those misconceptions, but yeah, basically go here, fill out all of this and just click start plan and you'll be good to go. The next thing you want to do after that is you want to go here into online store. You want to click on preferences below it and you want to scroll all the way down until you get to password protection and you just want to remove your password. I'm not going to be able to do that because I didn't pick a plan, but you guys will if you've picked a plan. So you will just click here, uncheck it and just click save and your store is going to be ready to go. So once you've done that, your store is going to be live and people are going to be able to actually go to your site and, you know, check it out, see what products you have on there, etc. Of course, you're not going to have anything on it yet, but we're going to go into that now. So once you finish this, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go into settings and go through all of this. So first of all, you want to set up your address here if you haven't already done that. So enter in all your details right here and save it and you'll be good to go. Then the next thing is your store's currency. By default, it's going to be the country where you're from. So if you want to sell in US dollars, like most people do, you would just click on US dollar right here. It's at the top and you would just click save. In case you want to change anything with your time zone or anything like that, you can play around with that here, but usually you won't have to really change anything there. Then the next step right here is plan. This is where you can choose the plan for your store, which is the first thing we did once we got to the store. But if for some reason you can't find it there, you can find it here. Then the next thing is billing. This is where you're able to see how much you're paying for Shopify and apps and when your next billing cycle is, which means when they're going to charge your card. And yeah, you can just have a look through here, but when you're just getting started, you won't have anything here. Then users and permissions. This is where you can add people to your store. So if you have any virtual assistants or any friends or any website developers that you want to add, you would click here and then you would enter their name, last name and email. And then you're able to give them the permissions on your store to change whatever you want them to change. So they're not going to have all the permissions unless you give them to them, which is really good if you have someone fulfilling your orders. You can basically just give them access to the orders and a few more and just save that and you'll be good to go. They won't be able to see everything else in the store and they won't be able to screw anything up. Then the next step is extremely important. This one you want to make sure you do and you want to double check and make sure you did it right. This is where you're able to set up your payment providers. So when it comes to payment providers, you always want to make sure you have one for credit card processing. And then another one that's really good to have is PayPal. The problem with PayPal is a lot of times they'll give you holds in your account and they'll like give you some headache. So in case you don't want to deal with that, you can just have one for credit cards. But if you just want to squeeze out every single dollar you can, then use PayPal and the credit card provider as well. Now, when it comes to choosing the correct provider, this really depends on where you live. The best setup for beginners is Stripe plus PayPal. If you don't have Stripe or PayPal in your country, then try using 2Checkout or try registering a US company. This is a very nuanced subject because it really depends on who you are, where you live, if you have a company or not. So I do go over all of that in my program. So if you guys want to join that, I'll have a link below, but I don't have time to explain it all in this video because it's pretty complicated. So to keep it short, ideally you want to have Stripe and PayPal and that's it. So once you set those up, then you want to go to checkout and here you just want to follow along with me and just do all the exact same settings. So don't use accounts, but if you do, I would make them optional. I would never make them required because that's just going to drive a lot of customers away because they're just not going to have the will to set up an account on your random site. So I would just do don't use accounts, or accounts are optional, but I personally just do don't use accounts at all. Then the customer contact method, I always go for email. I do not show a link to download the shop app. I always require the first and last name. The company name you can leave as optional or don't include, it doesn't really matter. I'll just leave it as optional. Address line 2 you can do optional as well. The shipping address phone number I always set as required. So what this does is this enables people to give you some extra money, basically to leave a tip to your store, and some people actually do leave tips, so you can either leave it on or off. I personally leave it off just because I don't want to have people get confused or anything before they actually purchase, but I know a lot of people that leave it on and they say that it's good, so I don't know. I personally don't like it, but you can actually make some extra money here, so it's more so up to you. Then for order processing, you want to leave all these three as exactly as they are. Same thing for after an order has been paid, leave it as this. This is also fine as well. Then consent for marketing. This is like when a customer is leaving their info on your store and they basically have to leave an email, but this is like the small checkbox under the email that basically enables you to send them promotional emails and stuff. So if you click pre-select this option, it's always going to be pre-selected and people are going to have to manually unselect it, and that's going to give you a lot more email list subscribers, which is good. But on the other hand, I think it's illegal, so I leave it off. But yeah, it kind of sucks because it is illegal, but it really does help you out and makes your email list bigger, which means you can make more money. So it's up to you if you want to risk it, or if you live in a country where it's not illegal, you can maybe leave it on. I'm not 100% sure about this, don't quote me on this, but if you want to be extra safe, leave it off. If you don't mind risking it, you can leave it on, and that's the final setting here, and we're just gonna click save. Then the next thing is shipping and delivery, and this is something that's extremely important as well, and if you leave it as default, you're gonna miss out on a lot of purchases. So you want to go here and click manage. Then what I like doing is I like deleting the domestic zone because I like keeping it the same for for all the zones. And then I also like deleting this one. So you leave it as rest of world, which basically means worldwide, and you just add a rate. I like doing free standard shipping. And I just leave it free, click done. And then I also like adding priority, insured, shipping, and handling. And I like setting that at like $297, or you can also play around with it and put it to like $497 or something else. And another thing you can do is you can add more rates and have them be more expensive, just kind of like as extra upsells. You could also potentially put like a 2-year warranty in here, and just have it like be $10 or something. So it would be like insured shipping plus 2-year warranty. And you could put the price to like $9.99, and some people will actually take that and you will make some extra money. So if you want to, you can add that. If you don't want to, you can delete it. I'll just delete it for the sake of this video, but it's actually not bad to have that option in. So I'll click save. And yeah, these two are totally fine and you're ready to go with these. If you want to make some extra money, add the third one. I personally prefer upselling the warranty and like a separate post-purchase upsell, but if you don't want to deal with any of that, just add it here and you'll be good to go. Then the next thing is taxes and duties. I cannot tell you really what to put here because it depends on where you are from, where you're selling to, if you have products in-house or you're dropshipping. So it really depends on a bunch of different things. So I'm not going to touch on this at all. But basically for just getting started, you can pretty much ignore all of this and only worry about this once you start making some sales and you actually are doing some revenue. Then the next thing is locations. This is something you don't have to worry about at all, so just skip that. Gift cards, you don't have to worry about either. In case you want to make gift cards for your store, it's an option, but it's not really a super necessary one. Then the next one is markets, and this is something that Shopify has added recently. Back in the day, this didn't exist. Shopify added this a couple of months ago, and it's really annoying because for each store you make, you have to like switch this up. So for some reason, it gives you only a few countries, and then if someone from another country comes to your store, it will tell you that your store doesn't sell to that country. So what I like doing is just clicking manage. And first of all, the international market is not even going to be activated. So if anyone from outside the US comes to your site, you're not going to be able to sell to them. And when you click on edit, you're going to see all the countries in here. So I'm going to click on add countries and regions, and I'm just going to add the entire continent of Africa, the entire continent of Asia, Central America, Europe as well, North America, Australia, and all the other countries. I don't know how to pronounce that. Other, and then South America as well. And I'm going to click done. And now we're basically able to sell to every country in the world. So I'm just gonna click save, go back, and I'm gonna click activate. And now we're able to sell to every country in the world. I'm gonna click OK, and we're done with that. All right, then the next thing is apps and sales channels. So here, Shopify is gonna automatically install geolocation, point of sale, and online store. All right, so point of sale we don't need, so I'm just gonna remove it. I'm just gonna click I understand the risk and click delete. And then geolocation you also don't need as well. So I'm just gonna click it does not meet my needs, and I'm just gonna delete it. And now we're left with only online store. Now before we start installing all the apps, I'm just gonna go through everything else real quick. Domains. This is where you guys can actually buy your domain. So I would do elepathy.co. So if you wanna buy a domain through Shopify directly, which is the easiest way, you would just click buy new domain, type in elepathy.co for example, and it will come up here and you'd see it's $29 a year, which is quite a bit more expensive than name.com or Namecheap or GoDaddy. So if you want to save money, go to GoDaddy or Namecheap and purchase it there and then connect it to Shopify. The problem with that is it's a little bit more complicated. It takes maybe like 30 minutes to set up. This is very quick, and this is, you literally just purchase it and you're ready to go. So if you want a penny pinch, go to one of those sites and just purchase it there and connect it. Put in like an hour to figure out how to actually connect it and everything, and you'll be good to go. But if you just want to get done with it and get started as fast as possible, just buy it here. A lot of times it's not even much more expensive. This one is for some reason, but yeah, just purchase it there and you're good to go. And then the only next setting that we care about is policies. So this is where you set up your refund policy, privacy policy, terms of service, stuff like that. So you can just click create from template, and it's going to automatically generate them for you, and you can just basically save this. The problem is it's going to leave some fields empty like this. So it says add or subtract any other tracking technologies used. So you would go through there and kind of like switch out all of those, like fill in the blanks. So you would kind of have to fill in the blanks and all of those, but no one really reads your terms of service or privacy policy, so you don't really have to care about it much. So realistically you can just save and leave it as it is, or if you have the time, just go through it all and make sure you set it all up. And yeah, now that that's done, we're gonna have to install the apps. So let's go over to apps, and we're gonna go over to the Shopify App Store. So let's open that up. And there's quite a few apps that I recommend you guys install. The first one is gonna be De-essers. So De-essers allows you to connect AliExpress with your store, and you're able to just dropship automatically. You don't have to really fulfill the orders yourself. It's all done through the app. So you'll just click add app. So basically when someone places an order on your site, you don't have to go to AliExpress and manually input all their info. You would just go into the app, just pay for it, and it automatically enters all the information for you. It literally takes a couple of seconds and you're ready to go. Then it's gonna ask you to create an account. So let's create one. You can get started with the free plan. If you want to go for one of the more expensive ones later on, that's totally fine. But to get started, you can use the free one. Then link your AliExpress. It's going to ask you to actually link it, so you're going to have an AliExpress account. And I'm not going to actually link my AliExpress to it. So yeah, just go through that. Follow all the instructions in the app. It has everything explained, how you fulfill an order, how you do everything. So it's very self-explanatory and it's very easy. Just log into the app and play around with it. And within 5 to 10 minutes, you already know how to use it. So I'm not going to waste the time explaining all that. Then the next app we need is going to be CJ Dropshipping. So this is basically the same thing as the Essers, just like a different supplier. So we're going to add the app as well and just install it. And then it's going to ask you to create a new account. So go through the process, set it up, and it's basically the same thing as the Essers, just a different supplier. So if some product is not available on AliExpress, it might be available in CJ, or it might be available on both, but it might be cheaper on one or have faster shipping on one. So always double check these two sites and see where you can find the better price or the faster shipping time for the product. And same thing here, you just register and play around with it. And within like 10-20 minutes, you'll know how to use it. So it's really not complicated. And now that we have the fulfillment apps, a very important app you want to install is called TDO. So let me go and show you guys that. So here it is. TDO is an app that gives you like a live chat feature on your store. So when a customer comes to your site and maybe they have some questions or something unanswered, they can just type a message in and you'll see it and you'll be able to respond to them and, you know, clear out any confusion or help them out if they're having some issue or some problem on the site. So let's click on add app and let's install it. So here we're going to be able to set up our live chat and how it's going to look like. So for your name, you can just do either your actual name or set it up as like support. And then you can choose the color that you want that matches your color scheme of the site. Blue is pretty good. You can also go with black. If you want to have a universal site that's just black and white, you can do that. Or you can use any of these other colors. For the sake of it, I'm just going to go for black and I'm just going to click continue. So here it's going to ask us what our main focus is going to be. I just selected all 4 of these. So we want to solve our customers' problems, increase our sales, talk to customers, and automate conversations. Then it's going to ask us how many customer support agents we're going to have. If you're just getting started, you're going to have 1, which is going to be you. Then for the industry, you do online store, and for number of customers, do 0, just getting started. And let's click continue. Here it's going to ask us to set up our first chatbot. So how would you like to engage your visitors when they enter your site for the very first time? I personally do the just greet them warmly thing and just click continue. Or if you want to do a discount, you can do that as well. Then we can choose a password. So let me just set one up real quick. And now it's going to redirect us to Shopify. So let's click on go to Shopify theme editor. And here, just want to make sure that it's on. And yeah, we're now good to go. So let's click on save. And now we have the chatbot live on our site. And now that we're done with that, we're just going to go back and click on finish. And now we're in the app. So this app is incredible. So here I want you guys to play around with it and, you know, figure it out. I don't have the time to explain literally how everything in it is going to work, but the main thing you want to do is you want to go to your inbox, and once you start getting customers to your site, this is where you're going to be able to see any messages that you have. And it's very intuitive, it's very easy to use. Here you'll be able to see the unassigned ones, which is basically the customers that have reached out but you haven't responded to them yet. Then my open would be the customers you're actively chatting with, and then solved is once you solve an issue for a customer, you can just mark them as solved, and it's going to put them into this separate folder, so you don't have any mess going through like customers you already talked to and finished and customers that you're still talking to. And this is an incredible app because what it does is it helps you understand what's troubling your customers, what kind of questions you haven't answered on your site, and that can be very helpful with increasing your conversion rate and making your product sell better. So what I personally like using it for is once a product starts selling, I like seeing what type of questions get asked the most often, and then I just edit the product description and actually answer those things in the product description itself, so people don't have to actually reach out to you and wait for you to reply and stuff like that. And the more questions you're able to answer for your customers, the better, because once someone knows everything about the product, they can make a decision on whether or not they want to buy it. If they're unsure about something, they're most likely not going to purchase. So that's why this app is so powerful. And not only that, it makes the customers more confident in purchasing from you because they see, you know, if they have any questions, they can just ask you, or if anything goes wrong, they can just reach out to your support. So great app, especially good for scaling, but it's also good to have when you're just getting started because you can help your customers and you can get to your first sale quicker. And another feature they have is chatbots. So what you're able to do is you're able to set up a chatbot that basically responds to your customers automatically. You don't even have to do anything. So there's already some templates that you can use, like increase sales, and then you can just use some of these. And let's say you want to use it for cart abandonment, you click use template. If we want to click on test it out, it's going to pop up this window right here, and we can click on chat with us and we can see what it's going to do. So it's going to automatically send the customer a message right like this, and then it's going to give them a couple of options that they can answer with. So let's say they say I found a better deal, then the bot is automatically going to give them a discount. So if they click yes I would, it's going to ask them for the email address, and we will just type in our email address right here, customer@gmail.com, send it. It's going to ask them if they'd like to actually like get more emails. So let's say sure. and it's going to give us the code. So things like this can really help you out. It's very easy to set up. It's already automated right here. Or if you want to make some yourself, you can click add from scratch and actually set up some automations yourself. So yeah, definitely play around with it. I don't have the time to go through all that in this video, but yeah, incredible app. TDO has a completely free plan and it's free to use, but make sure you install it with the link in the description, because after a certain point, if you get too many messages, you're going to need to upgrade to a bigger plan. And if installed through a link in the description, you're going to be able to save 20% off. So if you are going to be installing TDO, make sure to use that link. All right, guys, I'm back after a short break. I just installed a couple of apps off camera because I didn't want to go through the process on video. It's very boring. You just type in the app name, you click install, and then you set it up. So yeah, these are all the apps you guys want to have on your store. You don't need anything else to get started. Sure, there are some apps that can help you, but you're good to go with these. You don't have to overthink the apps. This is all you need. You can even get rid of some of these if you want to. You don't have to have all of these. So we have a review app. This is another part of the same review app. You don't have to use this one specifically. You can use any one you want. This one's just free, so that's why I installed it. These two apps, we went over and we installed them. These two apps actually speed up your site and make it load faster and make a conversion rate a little bit higher because of that. Then we have an order tracking app called Parcel Panel, and this enables your customers to track their order on your site, and it looks really good. I'll show you guys in a second. Then we have a sticky add to cart button, which is incredibly important. I can't stress this enough. Always have a sticky add to cart in your store. It really helps increase your conversion rate. Then we have TDO, which we went over, and then we have Trust Me, which adds some trust badges to your products. So now that we have all those apps, let me show you guys what our site is looking like at the moment. So we basically have the basic template of the site that just comes with Shopify. Here we have TDO, which is great. And then if we go to catalog, let's see. So we don't have any products where I can really show you the sticky add to cart, but I can show you the track your order page. So this is what it looks like. Then if a customer wants to track their order, they can go here, enter their tracking number, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to hide all the Chinese numbers and Chinese letters and everything on the site. And yeah, it's just going to look really clean. It looks really professional. And yeah, this app is amazing as well. And yeah, apart from those apps, the next thing we have to do before we're actually able to import the product and design the store is we want to click on online store and go into pages. And then here we have our contact us page, and that just looks like this. So this is really good. By default, you don't have to do anything here. But to add some extra pages to our site, I'm going to click on add page, and then let's set up a refund policy. And then I'm going to go to this Google Doc where you guys are going to have everything you need to copy paste. But yeah, I'll leave a link for that in the description. Some things you'll have to just change, like insert email here and stuff like that. Just delete that and put your email there and you'll be good to go. So here's the refund policy. I'm just going to copy this and just paste it in here. I'm going to leave this as it is, but you would basically just delete this part and just put your email right here. And I'm going to click on save. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to add the other pages. So shipping information. I'm just going to copy this all straight from here and just going to paste it in here. Go through it once again, change out all of the fields and click on save. Then we're going to add another one. We're going to call it FAQ, and we're just going to copy this. And I'm going to click save. And those are all the ones that we need really. Now we're going to add a privacy policy page. And I'm just going to click save, and then I'm going to go into settings, go back down to policies. If you guys remember, we were setting this up earlier in the video, and I'm just going to click Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and I'm going to go back to pages, open up the privacy policy and just paste it in here and just click save. Then I'm going to go back and do another page called terms of service, save it. Again, go back into policies, copy it, and then paste it in here once again. And those are basically all the pages we need. So now that we have all these pages here, I'm just gonna go to navigation right here, and then I'm gonna click on the footer menu, and then I'm gonna click add menu item, and I'm just gonna click on link pages, and I'm gonna click the contact page. I'm gonna name it contact us and click add. And now I'm going to repeat this for every single one of the pages we just made. So we're going to need the FAQ, we're going to need the refund policy, privacy policy, shipping information, and then the terms of service at the end. And we're good to go. I'm just going to delete the search. We don't really need that because we're going to only have one product. And I'm just going to align it like this. So the shortest one is at the top and then the longest one is at the bottom, just because I think this looks best visually. And then I'm going to click save menu. And then we're also going to set up our main menu, which you don't really have to change much on. I honestly just like having the contact us page there. I would just name it contact us. The track your order page I added when I was installing the track your order app, but that's super self-explanatory. It's all explained in the app. Catalog, I like just changing to shop, and then right now it's going to take them to all products. Once you add your product, you can actually set it to actually take them to the product page of the product you're selling, but it's really not that important. You can also leave it as all products, and that's fine as well. And then we're going to click save menu, and also I want to add an FAQ right here too. Once we got all that, we're basically ready to go. And I'm gonna click save menu. And now we're pretty much done with the backend setup. So up until this moment, all we were doing was just setting up the backend and making sure it's all ready to start selling. Now we're actually gonna start designing the store. So first of all, I'm just gonna add a product to it. You don't actually want to add a product like this. What you guys want to do is go into settings, go into apps and sales channels, and then import your product that you want to start selling through AliExpress and de-essers and just have it connected there. But because I'm not actually going to be using the store, I'm just going to add a product right here just so we can edit the product page. Because until you have a product on your store, you're not able to edit the product page. So let's add some test product right here. So for example, I'm just going to name it posture corrector. It's the most saturated product in the world. Don't sell that, but I'm just going to use it as an example. And then I'm going to click on add files, and I'm just going to upload some random photos of a posture corrector right here. Then for the description, I'm just going to copy someone else's description real quick. But before I do that, I'm just going to set the pricing. So let's set it at $29.99. And the compare at price would be your kind of like discounted price. So if you're selling it for $29.99 and you want to pretend like it's 50% off, you would do $59.99 right here. And that would basically be like the regular price that you're selling the product for. If you want to charge taxes, leave this on. If you don't want to charge taxes, leave it off. It really depends on your situation. I'll just leave it off for the sake of this video. Then here you want to select continue selling when out of stock. Worst case scenario, in case your supplier ever does run out of stock, just switch the supplier and find someone else who can actually fulfill the orders that you have. And then you also want to make sure you have some quantity here. This is something you won't really have to ever adjust, because when you're importing the product through de-essers or CJ dropshipping, it's going to automatically import everything. But I'm just going to add like 10 just so the product is like available and it's not sold out on the store. If you're selling a physical product, which most of you will be, just select this. If you're selling a digital product, then unselect it. But 99% of you are going to be selling a physical product, so select that. And this is where you can edit the search engine optimization type of stuff. So this is what is going to come up on Google when someone finds your link. So if you want to add something extra there, you can add it there. If you want to add a meta description, you can add that as well. And you can also change your URL handle right here. So when you import the product from de-essers, a lot of times it will have like a super long URL handle. So you can just come in here, delete that, and just make it something short, something that looks clean, and you'll be good to go. So once all that is done, make sure your product is set to active right here. And now you're pretty much ready to go when it comes to the product. And I also found some description that I'm going to paste in here. It's not perfect. I recommend you guys do less text and more images and GIFs in your descriptions, but I'm just using this as an example so the product page isn't empty and we actually have something to work with. Obviously, I'm not planning on selling this product, so I'm just going to keep it all like this. So let's click on online store right here. Themes. Now, you guys can also choose different themes as well. So if you want to use any of the other ones, you can use them here. Or if you want to purchase a theme and use like a paid one, you can do that as well. But I personally like using the Dawn theme. It's pretty fast. It loads really quickly. It looks decent. So you don't necessarily need to have like an amazing theme at the beginning. And this is the Shopify editor that's going to enable us to edit how our store looks. And so far we have the basic template. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the announcement bar and change it from welcome to our store to 50% off sale ends today. And you can also do free worldwide shipping, and I'm gonna save that. Then the next and most important thing that's gonna add to the look of the store the most is this banner right here. So I'm gonna click on it, I'm gonna click change, click select image, then I'm gonna click free images, and this is gonna take us to Shopify's free image library. So let's just do nature, and let's see if we can find like a good looking photo here. So something like this works. You don't really have to overthink this. People don't really care about your photo here too much. Yeah, if you want it to be something that correlates with the product you're currently selling, you can change it each time you change the product and just make it fit your store better. But you don't necessarily have to do that. People don't really care about your banner right here. And almost no one really pays attention to it. So you can click save. And then to edit this text, you would just click on it. It's going to pull it up here. And you can say something like, welcome to our store. And then here you can customize it based on your product, or if you just want to have some generic sentence there, you can do something like, we provide the highest quality products at the lowest prices, something like that. So it really doesn't matter. You can even go without text, but it just makes the store look a little bit better. So let's add that and let's click save. Then I'm going to click on buttons right here, and it's going to enable me to edit this one. So I'm going to unclick use outline button style, and I want it to actually have a color so it's visible and people actually notice it. And instead of shop all, I'm just going to do shop now. And here you can play around with where you actually want the button to take people. So if you wanted to go to a certain product page, you can just click X and then select the product, click products, and let's select our posture corrector and click save. So now if anyone clicks this, it takes them straight to the product page. Now everything below this image doesn't really matter. I personally like just having the product here and removing everything else. So I just click on the I button right here and just basically get rid of everything. And now we just have like the photo and the footer, and then I would go click save. And then here I would click on add section, featured product, select product on the right here, and then click on the posture corrector, for example, click select, click save. And if you want to edit any of this, you can also play around with that. So I like removing this text from here because I don't think anyone really cares. We're the only vendor on the store, so I would just remove that, just not to confuse anyone. And then for the buttons as well, I like removing the dynamic buttons. Some people say it improves the conversion rate if you have them on. I personally like having them off just because I like having one button that people can click. They can't get confused like thinking about which button they should click. I also like removing the share button from here because I don't think anyone really uses it, and it just kind of clogs up the store and makes it look less professional. And you can remove that on the left right here just by clicking this side. And yeah, this is basically how we want it to look. Click save. And for the most part, this is like our store layout for now when it comes to the homepage, because the homepage you don't want to have too complicated, especially if you're only selling one product. You're basically going to be sending all your customers directly to the product page. You just want to make the homepage so in case someone does go to your homepage, they can just see the product once again and they can't really forget about why they came to the site, or maybe see something else and then lose interest or whatever. You just want to make it really simple so in case someone leaves the shop page, they're back at your product once again. So that's what the homepage is about. If you really want to build a brand and you have a niche store and let's say you're getting a lot of sales, then it might make sense to actually make a better homepage and actually improve it and have like different products here, some upsells, stuff like that. But for now, this will do. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to click here and go to product and click on our default product, which is going to be our only product in the store right now. And we want to edit the product page a little bit. So here's the sticky add to cart button. It's working, so that's good. Now the product page is going to have these images right here as well, so I'd like removing those. I also like removing the product recommendations just because we're selling this product and we're sending people to the product page. We want to keep them on the product page and we want them to purchase this product. I personally don't like upselling anything until post-purchase because I don't want to mess up the customer's journey and accidentally have them like forget about why they came to the site or maybe lose interest in the product. I also like removing the materials, shipping and returns, dimensions, care instructions, and share. You can leave those on, but I personally just answer all of them in the description and I prefer it that way. So make sure you also save it once you do that. In the footer, by the way, we want to remove our mission, and we also want to remove one of the menus because they're basically the same thing. We're just going to have quick links and I'm just going to rename it from quick links to footer menu, and I'm going to click save. Also, if you want to remove the email sign up, you can also remove that. I personally like removing it too. Click save, and now we have a very simple product page once again. I'll also remove the dynamic buttons once again. Click save, and I also like removing the vendor name, which is our store name. Basically, we don't need that there. It just kind of clogs up the product page. Okay, so now that we have the product page basically done, the next thing we want to do, which is very important, is you want to go to team settings and play around with the colors. So the colors, you kind of like changing the colors changes the things in your site. So I just changed this from black to red, and it changed the add to cart button to red. And I prefer having it like a red or a green or a blue, like a very vibrant color. I don't like having it kind of blend in with the site and not be noticeable. So you want to make sure your add to cart is always popping out and grabs attention from people that are on your site. For the other colors, you don't necessarily have to change any of these, but I like changing the typography from assistant to poppins. So Poppins, select that. Click select, and as you can see, it's a lot more readable. The text is a lot better looking in my opinion, and then you want to do that for the other text as well. Select it, click select, and now it's updated our description, and as you can see, it's a lot easier to read. If you want to play around with the size of the font, you can also like increase it right here and it's going to make it bigger, but you can also leave it on default settings and it's going to be good enough. If you want to play around with the buttons, you can also increase like the border length if you want, and that's going to make the button a bit bigger. And there's also some other settings you can play around with, but this one's like the only important one. So click save, and then we're going to go back to colors, and I'm just going to make the text fully black, like a little bit darker so it pops out more, and I'm going to click save. And now I want to go back down to cart, and for the cart type, I like having it be a page, which basically means when someone clicks add to cart, it takes them to a separate page of the cart instead of it being just like some pop-up on the side that they can miss and they can like not realize that they added the product to the cart. Everything else we can leave the same, and then click save. And we also want to edit the checkout as well, so click on checkout. This is where we're going to be able to upload our logo and stuff. For the background color, leave it as white. For the colors, if you want to change the accents to like be unique to your store, if you want it to match your store style, let's do red because we have a red add to cart button. I would just do red there, and also the buttons I want to keep red. If you have a green add to cart button, put this to green, or if you have a blue one, put this to blue, etc., and just click save. So the last thing that we're going to have to do is set up our logo. So let's go over to Canva and let's set up a logo. So here I am on Canva, just canva.com, and I'm going to click on create a design, select a logo. And here we're going to be able to select from quite a few templates. So let's just find one that would fit our style. I think something like this would work well. And let's do a lepathy. We can delete the photo studio part and just leave it like this. If you want to change the colors to match your site, you can just click here and just kind of play around with it. But I think this color actually looks nice, so I'm going to leave it like it is. And then once you're done with your logo, you can just click on share, click download, and just download it as a PNG. Or if you want to use a JPEG, you can also use that. But let's do PNG and let's click download. And now that we have the logo, I'm just going to click on change, click select image, upload. I'm gonna add my own logo, and there it is. Now we have a logo. Now it's not perfect because of the settings in Canva. You don't actually want to use the 500 by 500. You want to set it up so it's like 500 in the width, but the height you want it to be like 150 to 200. And unfortunately, I don't have the time to go into Canva and like fix this, but it's super easy to fix. You would just go in there and just change the size of the image, make it like slightly less tall, and it's gonna fit better on your site. It really doesn't matter. You can also use a logo like this, but it's better because it's gonna remove like the white space you have here. But I don't have the time to do that. I literally have to go somewhere in 5 minutes after recording this video. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. You guys now have a store that's functional, that's able to start getting some sales. It's a hybrid one product store / general store, and it looks pretty all right. Like, it looks basic, but everyone's gonna be on their phone, and on their phone it literally all looks the same. No one's gonna be able to tell the difference between this store and any other store. So yeah, do not overlook the store. Don't think the homepage is that important. It's really not. What's actually important is you having a good description and good marketing that's gonna be able to sell your product. Your store doesn't really help you sell the product that much. It just helps you get some more sales once you have everything else right. But yeah, this is totally fine if you're just getting started. And yeah, I personally use stores like this a lot, and they do sell really well. Like, I don't see any difference basically in conversion rates. It's just very simple and very easy to set up, because once you want to test a new product, you would just go to your homepage, change this product right here, import another one, and you're good to go. You're ready to test the next product. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys want to set up your store and you haven't actually been following along with the video, use the Shopify free trial link in the description. I'll have all the policies and templates also in the description as well. If you want to use TDO, I'll have a link where you can save some extra money there as well. And if you want to join my mentorship program and have my team build a store for you for free, plus get my course, plus get my mentorship and a Discord community, I'll leave a link for that in the description as well. And if you want to check out my Instagram, it's at @ecommarco. Feel free to DM me or anything if you have any questions. And yeah, that's basically for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.